Hello guys, it's month 26 of Promptsquad, and the prompt for this month was architecture, suggested by our own Nadya. First, I am sorry guys that this has taken me so long to upload. I've actually had my sister staying with me for the last week or so, and I haven't seen her in almost 2 years, so I just really wanted to just hang out and spend time with her properly. But she's off home now, and now I'm gonna get back to the grindstone. But you know, that's alright with me, because I was really excited to get going on this month's prompt, as it's actually what I went to uni for, and I did work in it for a period of time too, so it's definitely something that I enjoy drawing, and I was really excited to see how all the different members took on this challenge too. I'm going to show all of their fantastic art by everyone else created in the second half of this video, but first I'm going to start with what I made. So basically, I'm going to go through the process a little bit. I decided that I wanted to illustrate an axonometric perspective illustration for this one, and it's kind of a hint of something that I've been working on for a while in the background, so hopefully you like the look of this by the end. Now, I really love miniature doll houses, and I'm always looking at DIY videos and at DIY kits, and yeah, I just look at them a lot, and I was thinking, well, you know, I have Etsy, I like this type of stuff. It might be fun to maybe try and create one of these as my own DIY kit, like a little miniature room. So this kind of illustration is kind of me exploring that idea, and I kind of think this is probably something close to what I plan to make. So hopefully you'll find that interesting, because hopefully that will be a future video on this channel at some point, you know, probably like 5 months from now. So this did take a while to render on Photoshop. I had to set up this guide myself. I just did a quick sketch on some paper, and I did that just more for my own head, because I just struggle with perspective quite a lot. It's probably not good for an architect, was it? But yeah, it's something that I kind of play with a bit, so I made sure I had my guide so that I could try and draw everything on the right grid. And yeah, it helps a lot, especially when you're doing the smaller details or you're working with something round, you know, because then you're a little bit, you know, more in that headspace, aren't you? I did used to do this a lot at uni, thinking about it. I mean, I more did it though for details, so you would like explode that sounds worrying. You would explode a detail like a door jamb or, you know, a roof, you know, into the different materials that made it up so that a builder could actually build it for you. Yeah, it's an interesting idea. It's definitely something to get your head round, but once you can do it, it's really like easier to imagine how you're going to build something, I guess. Anyway, I'm not doing that this time around. I don't know why I'm talking about it. Instead, I kind of wanted this to more feel like a kind of encapsulated scene or story in a box. Kind of like, you know, old Polly Pockets from the 90s. And I also knew that I wanted to do a kind of Japanese themed bedroom in here. Kind of cute, kind of traditional fabrics and patterns in there too, but maybe more modern colours of them. I did collect a lot of images and references and kind of made a mood board in a separate document, kind of so that I could look at it as I was designing and planning out what I wanted to do with it in this scene. I hadn't really planned on adding a character into it, so I felt like I should take a little bit more time with the details and the background so that you would have that information, I guess, while you were making your own story. I knew I wanted to try and go like a pastel Neapolitan colour scheme. I'm just thinking in terms of ice cream, that's my colour palettes, you know. But yeah, that's also kind of lending itself as well to something a little bit fun, especially with the lighting. I thought could be fun. So yeah, I kind of always love when artists play a lot with their lighting, especially in backgrounds, and I don't really do that so much. So I knew I had these windows and I thought, let's play with a bit of direct light, let's play with a bit of shadow, and yeah, just see how that effect works. I've never really done it before, so I kind of wanted to have an experiment. Now, looking at it, I know it's not right, I know the scale is terrible, and it's a bit annoying, to be honest, looking at it now, but I really enjoyed actually trying out this effect, and I'm definitely going to use it in the future. I just might scale it up next time. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's definitely an upside of doing something digitally compared to watercolours, that type of thing. It's so much easier to do on a computer, that style, so that was a lot of fun. And yeah, I just had a lot of fun working on all of these little details, and at the same time I was drawing and thinking about, well, you know, how could I actually make this in real life on a tiny scale, and then going down those DIY rabbit holes a bit. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting crafting on this and seeing if I can create something at least similar to this illustration. Hopefully you'll enjoy watching it, like I say, but yeah, this is how it all turned out. You're going to have to let me know, guys, if you have tried drawing in this kind of axonometric, like perspective style drawing before, or if not, if you'd like to give the idea a go yourself, because you know, you just have to really draw a 3D box and you can pretty much do it. I mean, I've noticed there are a lot of guides online too that you could probably print out and use as, you know, your background as you draw. But yeah, I know I need one, so if you're interested in it, you'll have to let me know what you think. And yeah, that's it. So let's go on to the most important part, guys, and see what everyone else created for this month's prompt. Nadya created 4 pieces this month, and what I really love the most about hers is that each one is exploring the prompt of architecture in a different medium. The watercolour cathedral has this great perspective of you kind of looking up, and the details just disappear up into the sky. It's just a really cool way of expressing the size of a structure and really giving it that imposing feeling. And I also love that Nadya went into different aspects of architecture in her pieces. Because in one illustration, it's like, let's look at these details and really go into them. And then in the next, it's this total structure as a whole. And I think that's a really great way of showing really how many different directions you can take this one word prompt. I think she's really explored it well. Twyrob13 is our newest member of Promptsquad, and her medium is embroidery. Now, I can't quite believe, to be honest, that she made 2 pieces for this one, and that she was able to capture so much detail in her work, and use so many different stitches in her designs too. The creeping ivy and the flowers on the cottage is probably my favourite part of it all. I love those mixtures of textures that she's formed just using thread. It really does feel like a painting in many ways. I also really like that she's contrasted her 2 pieces that she made by kind of doing a traditional cottage and then a modern high-rise tower. And it's not just like in style, but also in these sharp colour contrasts, you know, the pastels and then the blacks and the reds. It really cements how different these 2 types are. I really like that. And I don't know if she minds, but, you know, Twyrob is my mum, by the way, guys. So make sure you send her a lot of love for taking part and just putting so much effort in. My goodness, it's crazy. You know, this is my time to embarrass you, mum. Get the love. Art of Troy created this absolutely stunning illustration that I just can't get over. That sharp, colourful sunset really frames the beautiful amount of detail that Troy captures in his illustration of the gargoyles on the rooftops. It just kind of makes me think of cathedrals like Notre Dame and the bats as well that he's brought into it. It's all just atmospheric. It's a whole like a captured moment in time, and yeah, I think it's especially interesting because you just don't see architectural details done this beautifully. It is kind of more like thinking as a builder and, you know, just as like, oh, how do you make it? And I think this really shows the beauty of just details. I just think it's really beautifully done. It's definitely like a snapshot in time. I really like that about it. Carter's illustration is just mind-blowing. I mean, look at all of these details. When Carter hinted last month, I think in a comment, that he was going to do something Japanese inspired, you can imagine how excited I was. But even with his track record, I was astounded by how good this piece of art is. I mean, I'm just really impressed by the perspective, Carter. I mean, there's so many lines going on, so many directions you've got to keep in mind, as well as curves in a perspective. I mean, it's ridiculously good, Carter. I really hope you're proud of how this one turned out, because I mean, it just makes me think you need to go into drawing buildings. It's really good. Oh, and also, you know it's got to be Lisbeth, because her signature style and her character are all back, and not only are they back, but it's also got this heart, this story that I just always find and I love in her artwork. That is just, I love it the most. Lisbeth looks really introspectively at this prompt and draws out the meaning of architecture on a personal level, which I think is just such a beautiful way of thinking about it. I remember back when I was studying it, one of my lecturers said that you spend something like 90% of your life in a building and 70% of that is going to be in your own home. And yeah, so much of your life is spent inside a place that's designed by people and created by people. And I think seeing that human side of something that maybe feels a little bit cold, a little bit unnatural, really resonated with me when I saw Lisbeth's piece. So yeah, I really love it. It's a fantastic piece of work. Far Photo's painting for this prompt is very visually like impressive. It's very like in your face. You have these strong architectural lines of the tower clashing against these like really soft pastels in the background, and it's this brilliant abstract contrasting work of art. And yeah, I think it just has all these recognizable forms within it, even though it's so abstract. Honestly, when I first saw it, I did think that Far Photos had done a collage. I thought that's what it was, because of the way that she painted the shadow. It seems to really elevate the tower from the background, and I think the effect is just really cool, very interesting way of doing it. Halumpa's illustration for this prompt is just so wonderful to me because it's got all these curves, these natural forms within it, which you just don't immediately think of when you think architecture, or at least I don't. But Halumpa's brought these forms into her illustration and crafted this really spooky and atmospheric witch's hut that really, to me, looks like it could have been carved out of some great old tree or something. Well, I don't know. It makes your imagination just go and tell a story, I guess. And really, for me, that's one of my favourite things in art. So thank you, Halumpa. Emily also played with her line art in her response to the prompt to give her cottage even more character. And like Halumpa, she gives her building its own story. To me, Emily's illustration feels like it could maybe be a concept sketch for a video game. Probably one that I would play. It looks really cool, and I love how she's played with the composition and the shaping of the structure. She's kind of taken this knowledge of anatomy and character building that she clearly has really well and applied it onto architecture, and it just makes it so visually interesting to look at. I really like it. Dave's painting was inspired by a YouTuber here on Olutubans that some of you may know. Basically, it's like a sustainable architecture YouTube where the guy like creates all of the architecture using natural materials around him, and it's kind of like a look into early architecture, but someone creating it today. I don't know. You'll know them if you've seen them, and I think you'll definitely recognise it immediately from Dave's work because there's just this beautiful like softness to it, some kind of like a soft realism to it that I really like. And because Dave has used a soft brush to illustrate it, the strokes just kind of blend all into each other. And it kind of feels almost otherworldly, like it's raining and we're capturing the scene. And instead of illustrating these like individual raindrops, Dave's woven that like atmosphere and feeling into the actual painting, kind of like an impressionist. And yeah, I think it's a really cool paint, Dave. I really like it. And that's everyone. Thank you all so much for taking part in this month's prompt. It was really interesting to see how different everyone's take was on this prompt. I kind of hoped it would be this varied, but it's just funny how often that, you know, as I compile this all together at the end and I see all the art, it's like, yeah, of course the artist did that. But then beforehand I'm like, I wonder what they'll do. It's funny how I think about it. But yeah, anyway, let's get on to the next prompt. So I've added some more of you guys' suggestions onto the wheel, but we still got some space. So, you know, if you have any ideas or a thought or anything, just message or comment me the idea and I will add it onto the wheel next time. So, it's going to be... It's going to be Nadya again. Okay. Right, I joke about Nadya a couple of weeks ago, not getting it, and then you get it twice in a row. Okay, right. So the prompt is pets. So this is going to be completely up to you guys as usual. Are you going to draw your own pet? Maybe one that you've lost, maybe one that you would like to have one day, or just something inspired by the prompt, maybe an imaginary or a dream pet. I don't know. I mean, the only other rule in this is just have some fun with it. So I can't wait to see what you guys are all going to create. I hope it's going to be as expressive as this one. Now, because it's taken me so long, okay, to get this done, I'm going to be a bit cheeky. And I hope you guys will understand why. I was thinking maybe putting the deadline as the 1st of June instead of the 1st of May. Because I'm just, if you look at the time now, we're only going to have 2 weeks at this point to make something. And if you're anything like me, you need 2 weeks just to even think of something. So hopefully you guys don't mind. We've got a bit longer for this one, but hopefully that means you'll just have even more time to think of ideas. And before we say goodbye, again, I just want to say thank you all for watching and for taking part in Promptsquad, being a part of Promptsquad. I mean, and well, forgiving my latenesses too, hopefully. But I hope you've all had a great month and can start enjoying a bit of this nicer spring weather, get a bit of sunshine, let us go outside, eh? And yeah, I hope you all enjoy the next prompt and I'll chat to you again soon. See you later, guys. Bye!